Predictions for two games this Sunday in the Brasileirão, Flamengo versus Vitória and Palmeiras versus Internacional. I picked three markets for each match, looking at recent form and also some numbers that we analyzed. And I'm going to share them with you now, starting with Flamengo versus Vitória. Right away, we can already see the offensive difference between the teams. Flamengo has 37 goals in 20 games, an average of 1.9 goals per match. Vitória, on the other hand, scored 22 goals in 21 games, an average of almost 1 goal per game. And defensively, the difference also matters. Flamengo conceded 18 goals while Vitória has already conceded 31. Besides that, Vitória is coming off recent defeats by 2-0, 4-0, 4-0 and 2-0 without scoring in those games. So, considering current form and the overall numbers, the first prediction I like for this game is Flamengo to win the match. The second market that makes a lot of sense for us to look at here is Vitória's goals. Flamengo has an average of less than 1 goal conceded per match and is coming off 8 games without conceding a goal. Vitória, on the other hand, has an average of 1 goal per game and, as I mentioned earlier, is coming off 3 losses without scoring. So a very interesting market for us to look at here is under 1.5 goals for Vitória in this match. And for the player market, I really like to look at shots by Diogenes and Arrascaeta. He leads Flamengo in this stretch with an average of 2.3 shots per game. Right behind are Paquetá and Pedro, both with 2.2. Since Flamengo should have more offensive volume and is facing a defense that has already conceded 31 goals in the championship, if Arrascaeta starts, an interesting market is Arrascaeta to have at least 1 shot. And to wrap up this match, for a projected score, I would go with Flamengo 2, Vitória 0 now. Let's move on to Palmeiras and International. Here the first point is very clear. Palmeiras comes in with much better numbers in the championship than Inter. They've scored 38 goals in 21 games, an average of 1.8 per match. Meanwhile, International has scored 23 goals, an average of 1.1. And in defense, the difference also matters. Palmeiras conceded 16 goals while Inter has already conceded 27. Besides that, Palmeiras has 8 games without conceding goals compared to 4 for International. So, because of both the offensive and defensive aspects, the first bet I like is Palmeiras to win the game. For goals, I really like the over 1.5 goals market in this game. In this sample, both teams have high scoring averages. Palmeiras scored 12 goals in 4 games, an average of 3 per match. Meanwhile, International scored 7 goals in 3 games, an average of 2.3. And in the recent head-to-head matches, we also had games with goals. 3-1 for Palmeiras, 4-1 for Palmeiras, and 1-1. So, even though Palmeiras is the favorite for this match, the numbers point to a game with at least 2 goals. And for player props, I really like to look at John Arias' shots. He leads Palmeiras in this sample with an average of 2.1 shots per game. Right behind him is Jose Manuel Lopez, also known as Flaco Lopez, with 1.9. And Mauricio with 1.7. Since Palmeiras is expected to have more possession and faces International, who have already conceded 27 goals so far in the championship, if John Arias starts, an interesting market is John Arias with at least 2 shots. And for the projected score, I would go with Palmeiras 2, International 1. So these are the best markets you can consider in your analysis for Sunday's games between Flamengo and Vitória and Palmeiras and Internacional. I'll leave the Esportiva bet link here in the description of this video and also pinned in the comments. There you can find super odds and boosted odds. Always remember to bet responsibly, only for those 18 and older, and the Ministry of Finance warns, betting is not an investment.